How boring have we made school? Is that something you ever wonder about? Well, you should. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Mike the Principal podcast. I am incredibly excited to be back at it. Summer break is over. The kids are struggling with early wake-ups. Car rider lines are getting fired back up. We are back at it for another incredible school year, which means that summer break is over. The Mike the Principal podcast is back. I'm incredibly excited to be here chatting with all of my educator friends out there. It's been an absolute minute. I think the last show we dropped was back in May, so I'm really excited to be back. Again, as always, thanks for listening. You can help support this show and this work by clicking the like and subscribe button. So if you have not already done that and you want this content brought directly to your inbox or get a notification, make sure you click that like, click that subscribe button. It is tremendously helpful. Share this work with your favorite educator friends. It's really, really simple. It helps so much to spread the word about how we can make a tremendous impact in improving teaching and learning really for all kids, right? Like that's what we want to do. So I'm Mike Meechin, host of the Mike the Principal podcast. If you're new here, welcome. If you're coming back after summer break, I hope you are charged up and ready to rock in a new school year. So lots of things to happen, lots of exciting things to come. I have lots of great content prepared for this school year. And yeah, we're just ready to get after it. So I wanted to address today a question really that's been on my mind since I visited last week. We had a middle school Meet the Teacher event. I now have two middle schoolers, a sixth grader and an eighth grader, which is absolutely insane. But anyway, we were at the Meet the Teacher event, and it really is something that is a question that has kind of been lingering in my head since we went to that Meet the Teacher event, is where has the wonder gone? In schools in particular, where's the wonder gone? And, you know, I want to throw this question out there, right? Like, do you ever wonder? Do you ever wonder about anything? And how important that wondering is in your life, right? The definition of wondering is it's like this mix of surprise and admiration that is typically sparked by something that's unexpected or inexplicable. Like we can't explain it, so we wonder about it. And it's a pretty powerful feeling when you think about it that way. When you think about what wondering actually is. And to be honest with you, it's really a feeling that should be at the core of teaching and learning. But as I walked through our middle school Meet the Teacher event, I started to question whether or not we had really lost the wonder in our teaching and learning practice. And this is not, my kids go to a really great school. They are, it's a high performing school. It's a very good school, but there was not a lot of evidence of wondering and inspiring wondering in kids during this particular event. And that's echoed, right? I've done a previous episode on like, you know, what did you do at school today? If you ask your kids that question, you could tell that in today's schools, we're not wondering enough. And it was something that, you know, we're getting ready to start a brand new school year. So like what better time to start and like hit reset. So, you know, as they starting school and I'm listening to teachers discuss about homework loads and tests and quizzes and state assessments, I couldn't help but feel that something was just missing from that conversation. There was so much focus on the mechanics of education, but there was little about how they were going to spark an excitement for learning in my kids. So I started to wonder. Like, what is the purpose of school? And if you've heard me talk, which if you're listening to this podcast, there's a high percentage chance you've heard me, go on and ramble about my thoughts in education, particularly in school leadership. But I began to wonder, what is the purpose of school? In my view, my opinion, the purpose of school is far beyond the grades, the tests, the endless assessments. It's far beyond the mechanics of school. It really needs to be about inspiring wonder of learning in our kids. It's about creating those moments of surprise and admiration when students discover something new, when they persist through challenges and don't experience success and encounter failure, and when they continue to try at it again and again until they get it. It's when they ask questions that lead them to explore even further. Like, yeah, that is what piques and triggers the excitement of learning. And yes, the assessments, the homework, they absolutely have their place in school. But that's not the end goal, right? Our purpose as educators and educational leaders should be to foster curiosity. It's to make students feel excited about what they're learning. So how did we get here? Like, how did we end up with a system where the joy of learning takes a back seat to the mechanics of how it all works? And I'm here to say, and I will be the first to say, it is not the fault of teachers. They came into a profession to inspire and to teach, but somewhere along the way, the system that they have encountered lost its way. And we have created environments that emphasize exactly what turns kids off from learning. Instead of encouraging them to wonder about their learning and ask and think about big questions like curing cancer or understanding the world around them, we've boxed them into worrying about test scores and grades. But here's the thing. We can change this. We can bring the focus back to where it belongs. And there's no better time to do that than the start of a school year. So what can you do? Whether you're a teacher or a school leader, you have the power to impact and affect change. For teachers, as you start the new school year, I urge you to refocus. Like, yes, there will be tests. Yes, there will be assessments. But your primary goal, your focus needs to be inspiring the wonder of learning in your students. Teach them at high levels, all of them, support them, but most importantly, encourage their curiosity. Design your teaching and learning and build lessons that do just that. For school leaders, well, it's our job and our role to grant permission for our teachers to be able to have the freedom to inspire wonder. When you walk into a classroom, don't just focus on the standardization or the mechanics or the pacing. Ask yourself, are the students engaged? Are they genuinely curious about what they're learning? And then what systems have you created and are you supporting to do this work every day in every classroom with every single student on your campus? And my final thought is this. This is in our control. Like, we can no longer make excuses, particularly at the start of a brand new school year, about why we can't implement more wonder in our schools and in our classrooms. Instead, ask yourself and wonder what is possible. It's our job to bring the wonder back into the education system. So as always, I appreciate you listening. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to click the subscribe and like button and share with others who care about impacting education. All right. I hope that you keep on wondering. I hope you wonder what the Mike the Principal podcast will bring to you this school year. And again, as always, I appreciate you. I do want to let you know also, I have started a new newsletter called the Eduphiles. It is available by clicking the link in the description, show description. I'll drop it in the show notes as well. But the Eduphiles comes out almost every Tuesday, and this week's newsletter is going to be about digging deeper in wondering. So be sure to check that out. Subscribe to the Eduphiles. I think you'll enjoy the content there as well. I take it a little bit deeper. It doesn't always align with what I'm talking about on the Mike the Principal podcast, but oftentimes it does, or it echoes some of the things that I'm talking about. But again, don't forget, click that like, click that subscribe. As always, I appreciate you. The work that you do is so incredibly important. Until next time, see ya.